Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome back after our vacation. We have with us a very special guest. Tuesday nights is special guest night, and tonight it is Rabbi Varnai. So, Rabbi, first of all, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoying it. So, we're going to talk about your Menorah project. So, give us a little introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here in Chicago. And if you could give us a little background about where you came up with this idea for a Menorah project.
That's all wonderful questions. I'll try to answer them. And if I'm missing something at the end, Rabbi Epstein, please let me know.
I will.
Um, as my name is Rabbi Avraham Varnai, I'm the fourth grade teacher at Cheder Lubavitch. And this is my 21st year teaching
Oh,
in
wow.
this school. And actually, I'd like to remind Rabbi Epstein that when I first moved to Chicago, you came to make sure my kitchen was fully kosher. So thank you. Uh, anyways, I actually grew up in Vancouver, Canada, and then my wife and I, after we married, we moved right here. So then I got a position at the Cheder as the fourth grade teacher. And in addition to being the full-time fourth grade Rebbe, I also do the programs. I run programs for the school, and those are for the Chagim, for the holidays, and just different ways to get the children excited and involved, not only in their studies. You know, everybody has different areas to excel, so we like to try to get things, bring a lot of different excitement to school and focus on positivity. And I've been doing that also for most of the time as well. And I do that in the boys' school and the girls' school, and keep myself busy that way. So before Hanukkah is always a very exciting time of the year, and the preparations for Hanukkah are super exciting. And Hanukkah itself is 8 days long to celebrate. So growing up as students, actually, even though I'm from Vancouver, I was a student here in Chicago myself. I was in the first class of the Masifta, and I was a student in Cheder, the same school that I'm teaching. And throughout my years in yeshiva and beyond, it was always I always like really loved the holiday of Hanukkah, where we got to celebrate it, but more importantly, reach out to others and affect others and bring the light of Hanukkah to as many people as possible. So it was an interesting experience. The year before, 2 years before, I think it was. Um, oh, actually, both years before I ended up moving to Chicago while before I was, still single and older, young adult. So we did Menorah. I was helping a rabbi in New Jersey, in a city called Freehold, New Jersey, and we worked together to make something exciting in the mall. And we built like what probably then was the very first massive, massive Lego menorah. And it was pretty incredible because then, you just invite families to the mall, and kids are going to come and try to build it together. So you have to have like a really good plan quickly to put a massive thing together with hundreds and hundreds of pieces very quickly. And this was before, this was pretty much the first time of it. And it really made something so special about Hanukkah. And to every student, every child who was there, and every family who was there at that experience, they felt like they felt the menorah come alive. And it was an incredible like this experience being there, being part of it, and seeing how the holiday it really had an effect on them. So, fast forward a year or two, and I come to Chicago, and I'm really, really young, inexperienced at that point in teaching, and of a lively, wonderful group of students. And it's the first year that teaching and just getting to know what it's like to be a teacher and dealing with these students. It's the December, the beginning of the year. And I said to myself, it would be, it's really great I teach Chumash, and I teach Mishnah, and I teach some Navi and Parsha, et cetera, et cetera. But, we have to bring some excitement with Hanukkah coming up. I want to bring some excitement to them. It adds to the lessons when something exciting is happening in class, in addition to all the exciting studies we're doing. But I realized I couldn't do Lego. Lego is just it was beyond the fourth grade teacher's ability at that time. It's a huge investment, and it's just a big job to do. And it's like I realized it wasn't. So I was trying to like brainstorm an idea, And I brought it over to the principal to discuss it with them. And the idea was that it would, it's a build up until Hanukkah. And as a reward, if we accomplish our study goal for the day, and we finish a little early before time's up, then I'd have the students work on this project. And the kids were so excited. And sure enough, it took a few weeks, but it could have been the very first one. We did a lot of firsts in this class, but we ended up building the very first popsicle stick menorah. We used 10,770, good number, right? To over just under 11,000 popsicle sticks.
Who ate all
And
the popsicles?
exactly. That was a question everybody asked. That's a really good question. The kids had a great time with that. And good thing Michael's has them in boxes of 1,000. So, and about 2 gallons or 2.5 gallons of glue. And it was incredible. The kids, like, they were, for 2 weeks before, during Hanukkah and after, they were just so excited to see their project. And it became like we figured out a way to get it on wheels and to move it into the hall, and we invited the rest of the school to come and witness the menorah lighting, and it really brought them, like, it gave them such an excitement, and it made them feel like they were just amazing, and they were amazing. We're still in touch with many of those students today, and it made such a tremendous impact on them, and a love for the holidays and a love for learning. So comes the next year, I'm like, okay, we got to do something. We got to continue. We got to do something for Hanukkah, but we can't do the same thing. So that the
Can I
next
jump
year,
in one question? What
sure,
happens to this menorah when Hanukkah's over?
that's a good question. So
I
when it
only
came to
ask good questions.
when it came to this menorah, it took a little bit of time. We put it in like some storage, but it doesn't last too long sitting in storage in a school of a lot of kids. But so we couldn't, we tried to see if it could work, but we tried to like fix it a little bit for the next year. It wasn't really going to happen. So the next year I decided we're going to build a popsicle stick dreidel. And that we used even more. It's like 14,000 popsicle sticks.
And where do you
Fast
get the
forward,
plans for this?
it
Is there
was,
like something you
it's
follow, or you make it
brainstorming.
up?
It was a lot of trial and error and an idea and imagination, and then we just put it together, and it comes together, not easily all the time, but it comes with a lot of effort. And the kids do one thing, and then I realize it's not going to work, and then coming back to school late hours and trying to fix it and see what's going to work for the next day. And then the next year, we built a popsicle stick Beis Hamikdash, and made like a resemblance of the Beis Hamikdash and the Holy Temple with everything involved. Okay, so that's the first 3 years. Then the next year is like, I had this idea to change it up. It's very fun to have a craft and to do an activity, but I thought would be very important, and maybe even more important, is if I could figure out a way to not only bring the kids to life and bring an activity to the kids, but what I wanted to switch up with a little bit, and that is switch it to more like a chesed project. To have the students during the times of Hanukkah, this is holiday season, pretty much any religion. And we all, kids and my students, my own children, and kids around generally during this time of the year are thinking about themselves, thinking about what type of gifts they're going to get, what type of parties they're going to go to. And I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I brainstormed some ideas and spoke to some friends. And we decided from that year on, we are going to focus on a chesed project, on an act of kindness. And I'm going to just do a little bit of sampling, and then I'm going to kind of work backwards with some pictures. So that was easier to find than pictures from 18, 20 years ago. So we did a whole bunch of stuff. We were actually the first year that I thought of this project. I was the first one that did it, and afterwards, many, many, many people copied us. I actually got a contact with a company that specializes this now, and now sells it as a menorah kit to many people around the world. And that is, we made a menorah out of money. It's a penny menorah, actually, or nickel menorah, a money menorah. But the reason why it's unique is because we had to Home Depot does not sell tubes or PVC piping that's clear. And also it had to be very strong in order to hold all the coins. So we made a coin menorah, and basically, I dealt with a company, I think it was somewhere in Ohio actually, and they measured it, and we did a lot of back and forth. We perfected the design. And then we sold that. We not actually didn't sell. We gave it out to anybody who wanted the idea, and then the company who specializes in clear PVC piping, they were happy to, of course, send it for the right price to any Chabad house, but other organizations that wanted as well. And we fundraised my students. So basically, from that first year on, my students would fundraise for a specific cause, and then the money would go to that cause. So like when we did it with the money menorah, that year we gave the money. We made this beautiful menorah out of clear PVC piping, filled it with, I don't remember the amount of money, but well over $1,000 worth of coins. And then we took the money, we gave it to Chai Lifeline. They deal with children who are ill in hospitals, and they bought toys for the children for the holidays, for Hanukkah, etc. And then we made a menorah out of cans of food, which we donated to the Ark. We donated to the Chesed Fund. We made a menorah of toys. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of toys were donated, and students fundraised for it. And we went shopping at Walmart, and we, but besides our own shopping, I was in contact with toy companies who donated literally pallets arrived to our school. We made this massive menorah. We gave it to hospitals. We gave it to Chai Lifeline. We gave it to the Friendship Circle. Okay, so over the years, we did a lot of stuff. So I want to start talking about what we did this year, and kind of backtracking. That's how I got into the Chesed projects. And
How many years have you done? Have you done it this style, the Chesed style? It's been for how many years?
So I'm thinking this is my 21st year doing something, and the first 3 years we did as a craft, and following the next, I guess, 17, 18. I could be wrong by a year. It could be a mistake, but something like that. And afterwards was basically focusing on a Chesed project. And each year was so surprising how the students jumped at it and loved the idea. They put themselves out there, some more than others. They're going to ask family and friends if they would like to help sponsor a specific project. It's a really good cause. Some students would literally spend hours with parental supervision, and so it's incredible to the parents as well. Having their children going to neighbors, walking up and down the blocks with friends, and asking for their support. And it's really incredible what the students, and they feel so accomplished. They feel like they did something amazing. Okay, so let's.
They really did.
So this year, and I'll try to work backwards, and if I need to go faster, let me know. So the past 2 years since October 7th, we just the war that started on Simchas Torah of last year, 2 years ago. So obviously that hit home very close, way too close to home for everybody. And whether it's the fact that we are all love Israel, love the people of Israel, and Jews from afar, or siblings in the army. I've my parents live in Israel. I have siblings in Israel. I've a brother who just my brother who just finished his time at the army right before the war started. I have a brother-in-law who's very involved. So for everybody's perspective, it really hit home. And I was like, we got to do something special. So the past 2 years, I'll start with this year and then work backwards. So this past year, I told my students, we are going to make a menorah of protection. And that means we're going to make a spiritual protection for the soldiers, because to fight the battle in Israel, we need a very strong military, and we need very strong spiritual power, spiritual force as well. And I teach my students, and I've learned as a student as well, that when our connection to God is strong, when we pray, when we do mitzvahs, we light the Shabbos candles, we put on tefillin, and we connect to God, that strengthens our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael and Israel. So that's how we do it, and even more so when the soldiers themselves have a chance to strengthen their spiritual connection to Hashem. And it's amazing the awakening that so many soldiers have literally asked. Soldiers that's up until now didn't think they had any connection to Torah, to God. Suddenly they're asking for for just something spiritual to connect them. So I have a brother-in-law, and Rabbi Epstein informed me that my brother-in-law was on your shir, was on your class a few weeks ago, and he's been very, very involved in the military, the IDF, especially since the war started, visiting army bases and encouraging the soldiers, and most importantly, providing for them any spiritual need and actually a material needs as well, whatever they need. And I partnered with him to, and I told my students that we're going to fundraise for menorah kits, since it was before Hanukkah, tzitzis, specific ones that are made out of green for the military, mezuzahs, because there's a lot of smaller. My brother-in-law told me there's a lot of smaller outposts that are being built around the Gaza area right now, and these are just basically they're small one unit things that are like that's strong, it's almost like a container, like a shipping container with a door and a couple, that's considered like their base, and they needed these mezuzahs. And there are even some that have actually taken this big leap and wanted to put on tefillin. So I told my students that we're going to have a goal to try to raise, because we were a little late with this project. Sometimes that happens with us. We're running a little late. So it was like a week before Hanukkah, and I was like, I have 19 students this year. And I said to them, I said, it would be incredible if we could raise $1,000, because $1,000 towards this cause means that we could give a whole bunch of pairs of tzitzis to the soldiers that are asking for them, a whole bunch of mezuzahs, many, many menorah kits, and who knows what else. And my students, in the 2 weeks, my students went way above and beyond. And we've finally, actually, yesterday, we finalized the total. They raised in under 3 weeks, because money was still coming in through Hanukkah. So in under 3 weeks, they raised over $5,000.
And fourth graders.
Fourth graders, 19
Amazing.
fourth graders raised over $5,000. And it was, and many, many, many soldiers in Israel have already been affected by it, because we partner with my brother-in-law, David Kitak, as well as Chabad of Carmiel, who also is very involved in these types of activities. And we gave them some of the money raised. Some money still going to them over the next few days as the money is being collected and gathered by the office. And it's really a great accomplishment. So I wanted to start by showing some pictures of what we've done for this.
Yeah, that's what I love, pictures.
There we go. Let's see if I remember from many, many years ago. Okay. I'll start with, so now you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So so the thing is, at the end, we had to do you see that picture that I just opened up?
No, you got to double click it so it gets big.
I did that, no?
You just see like a thumbnail. We don't see like the whole big picture.
Okay, so I'm gonna try that again. Okay, so share screen. I have to look, because I'm opening a file, so to open the file and do each one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back.
You gotta maybe open it first and then share screen.
Okay, I'll do that. So,
Technical difficulties, please stand by.
Exactly. All right. So basically, now when we did a menorah like out of cans of food, or when we did a menorah out of coins or toys, we could actually construct the menorah, make it into look like a menorah in our school building, and then give out after Hanukkah, give out all the stuff. But when it comes to something like this, we're just collecting money and sending it all to Israel. So we have to be creative. So check this here. Check this out. What we've done. Coming right up. Oh, I think it's coming right up. Here we go. And so this is here.
There you go.
There you go.
Menorah of protection.
That's me and my students. And this is basically a printed paper. We made it look like a menorah, and it represents everything that what we've made. And I'll just keep on showing a couple other things. And
so it's just a poster?
This is just a poster, yeah.
There you go. Okay, we see it now.
Okay, so now I would like to also go back here. I'll show you. And now I would like to show you some of what actually took place, what with some of the money. I'm just gonna open a few at a time so it's a little easier. And here's so we sent, this is an example of a menorah kit that we sent to them, and hundreds and hundreds of menorah kits, obviously. Here's oh man, what was in here? And then we have, here's a tzitzis. And we have, so there's somebody, okay, the next thing I would like to show you. So there's somebody anonymous, I can't say his name.
We'll guess and you blush.
Somebody in Chicago that was really impressed by this project. Okay, so he and he's friends with a student in my class, and he said he doesn't want his name being said who it was, but look at this person decided that he wants to buy a pair of tefillin for a soldier.
Oh wow!
Now this soldier over here, I actually have a video of him saying thank you to the class. So, but I don't we'll see if we have time for everything. But this soldier, his name is Chagai. Chagai said in this video, and again, I don't know if we'll have time to go through every single thing, but Chagai said in this video when he was thanking the class, he also sent a personalized thank you to the anonymous donor, but I can't show that here. But in this video, he said like this. He said when he was a child, he refused even, I was surprised to hear this, but this is Israel sometimes. He refused his grandmother's request to even put on a Star of David. He wouldn't put on a Magen David. He was completely Judaism, it was just about the line of Israel. It was nothing to do with Judaism. When he says since October 7th, everything changed. He went and bought the Magen David. He started doing a little bit of prayers. And he said he started putting on tefillin to a point where he's committed to putting on tefillin every single day since October 7th. And he said he's doing this because he knows how important it is. This picture was taken less than a mile from the Gaza border in his state where he's stationed. And he said he's doing this for all the hostages, that they should be released immediately. And this is incredible. He's a grown man with children, wife and kids. He's come here on the reserves, so far from, what we think as a connection to Hashem and connection to the Torah, but it really shook him up. Okay,
Do you have any pictures of some of the older menorahs from 20 years ago?
Yeah, here we go. Okay.
All right, and then we'll look if anybody wants to unmute and jump in with a question, and then we'll.
So I'll go one at a time. Okay, so here's.
Sure.
So this is back. So now we're going to go last year, which was the menorah. This next menorah is going to be. We decided to fundraise also for Israel, and this was going to be for children that are affected by the war. So we sent to either if they were literally affected because they were unfortunately they lost loved ones in the initial attack, or if their fathers were soldiers and called up to duty. So we raised thousands of dollars to send toys. We partnered with a couple different organizations there.
This is last year's class.
This is last year's class.
I see a very cute little kid in the front row there.
Rabbi, do you see your grandson?
I do. Front row on my right, third from the right.
There you go. Yeah, that's him right there. Okay, let's move on.
Rabbi, do you have a photo? Do you have a photo of the one with the Legos?
Not with the Legos. No. Okay.
With the popsicle sticks.
Well, okay. So hold on a second. So the year before that, so this is 2 years ago, we made this out of. You'll be able to tell us when they see it. There you go. Cans of food.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh my.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cans of food, and we donated it to the Chesed Fund and to the Ark.
Oh wow. Oh
Okay,
wow.
Let's move on. The year before, okay, so now comes the popsicle sticks, but this is a tricky one. So when it came to COVID, we couldn't fundraise. The school didn't let us go out. So we went back to square one. And we redid the idea of popsicle sticks. Check this out.
Oh wow. With the masks on. I love it.
Yeah. So this is during COVID. They didn't let our students go fundraising. We figured might as well do something different. We still want to do something, but without the chesed part of it, I guess. And we've, I'm sure we tied it somehow into chesed, but this was a lot of fun and it got the kids really busy that year. Okay, obviously, 4 feet difference, arms distance. All right, moving on to the next one. Year before that, this was very special. Okay, so from the picture, you're not going to tell right away what it is. Okay, this is the menorah that we built. And this menorah is, as you can see, as you can sort of tell, it's a bunch of boxes. Inside those boxes, here are my students packaging them. We call this the Shabbos care package for Jewish members of the American military, active soldiers.
Wow.
Unfortunately, there was a very sad story in our community where we had a member of our community who was an active military member. He was based in California, and he was a couple months before we did this, where he was tragically killed. And he was right near his army base, and it was a terrible accident that happened. This soldier who died was actually in my very first class. And it was obviously very hard to accept, to handle this, this fact that one of my students, my first class, unfortunately died. It was killed by an accident as an active military. But we wanted to honor what he was very passionate about. And we made these Shabbos care packages for military Jewish members of the.
How many boxes did we see before? How many boxes was
So
that?
it was a few hundred boxes.
Wow.
And inside each box was shelf stable. So we put grape juice, a mini grape juice bottle. We put in Shabbos candles with a brochure about lighting Shabbos candles. We put in actually a shelf stable, like meal mart type of like chicken soup, like you could add hot water, but it's like a proper package, not like a tradition soup that they like, but it's like a real meal. And we did these cookies, as you can see. They said they have a shelf life of a couple of weeks, so we sent it, and a whole bunch of other snacks and stuff like that. But I got to tell you something incredible about this. This was, you asked me, Rabbi Epstein, at the beginning before you messaged me something like had an impact. This was incredible. So we sent it all over. Actually, I had no idea where we're sending it to because we got two different military organizations. They shared it. They shared like Olive Institute and a couple other organizations that deal with Jewish service members. And they gave us a list of addresses. Some of them were on aircraft carriers and bases in Korea and Japan and Germany. It was incredible. Listen to the story. A couple interesting things. Number one, even though in the letter, like I had my information and the school email address, but the cookies were from Tel Aviv Bakery right here on Devon. And it had the sticker on it. A couple of weeks later, the owner of Tel Aviv called me, and she said that I just got a call from the American military base in Germany, and they said they got our cookies, and it was so special, and they made this connection for the following 2 or maybe 3 years. I think even until it was sold a couple of years ago. Every holiday, Tel Aviv Bakery would package a whole bunch of shelf-stable cookies and things like that and send it to this army base in Germany for their holiday program for the Jewish soldiers there and their families. And it all for free. They did it as a service, and just because they're so happy to help them out.
Yeah.
And I've gotten so many other things. Like we received in the mail from a high-ranking officer in some army base somewhere in America. Like I'm forgetting what it's called now, but some of you might know. Like they give out medals, like as a sign of like appreciation, or like if you do something. And we've gotten a few of those. And probably the most like amazing thing was I got an email more than a year after this happens, and this soldier said that he was stationed at a certain army base, and he got notified like 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah that he was being moved over to another overseas base. And he arrived at this new base 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah, again, a year after my project. And he was really upset because on the current base that he was stationed, there was a Jewish infrastructure. There was a small little there was a small little place, the chapel. There was some Sidurim. There was other Jewish service members there. And it comes to a place and there's nothing. And he's like, how could I be Rosh Hashanah without my fellow Jews? But there was like an interfaith chapel. And he walked inside this chapel and he looked around the shelf to see what's there. And he sees this package on the shelf. And he opens it up and he said, you have no idea. In this email he wrote to me, he said, no idea how you made me feel at that moment. You made me realize that I'm not alone. You made me realize that Rosh Hashanah, even though I have to be here, but you did something a year ago. I didn't suggest you try the food, but with the fact that he said the grape juice was good, the candles were good, and he said this was such a message that God sent him, and he sent us to say thank. He emailed me a year later just to say thank you for this project.
Amazing,
That's
Rabbi. This is
wonderful.
beautiful.
Who sponsored the shipment of all those boxes?
So most of the shipments, so we had to send it to an organization based in upstate New York, and they ship it out. They have an arrangement with the military. So we had to pay for part of it, and they took care of the rest.
Amazing. It's a classic example where the kids benefit, the recipients benefit. It's a win-win all around. The activity is a benefit, and then the beneficiary is benefiting as well. Amazing.
What happened to the Lego project? It died off. You never finished it? No,
The Lego project. I never so I never did the Lego project here in Chicago. I did it once in New Jersey, but I never actually did it here. But I've done it for different Chabad houses who've asked me, but not as my part of my class. And this is one last year that I'll show you. This is a menorah out of menorah kits.
Oh wow! How many menorah kits is that?
There are over 1,000 that we made over here. This was in loving memory. This was loving memory of Elio Moskowitz, who was Elio Moskowitz was very close friends. I didn't teach him, but he was in school and I was a teacher, and we remained close for many, many years. And I know he loved always my fourth grade project. So I wanted to, unfortunately, Elio was killed way too young, and I wanted to spread the light. So we fundraised for over 1,000 menorah kits, and we quickly, after the first day of lighting it, we quickly disassembled them, and we sent them to around Illinois and beyond to get as many Jews as possible to light the menorah.
Amazing, Rabbi. Amazing, beautiful. I want to thank you for sharing this with us and for inspiring these kids and inspiring us. And what a memory for all of these young boys who now, some of them are adults themselves. So you've been doing this for 20 years. They're adults and they're children. Before you know it, you'll have the next generation to continue to inspire. So thank you so much for spending this time with us. Baruch Hashem, indeed. Tomorrow night, we'll gather for learning.
I do have a question.
Yes, Mr. Pine.
Have you shown Rabbi Twersky some of the things that happened to this year's class, like this gentleman who put the tefillin on?
Yeah, I showed it to the whole school actually, because I actually made a video to show everything, but because of the time constraint, I didn't show it here. But I do have a video of it.
Yeah, well, how do we get access to that? Is it online somewhere? The video?
I don't mind, Rabbi Epstein. Can I send it to you and you can forward it?
Yeah, send it to me and I'll WhatsApp it to everyone.
Okay.
And that'll go along with the guy that was writing to the class, all those wonderful things.
So that's more of like a project on my behalf, because that's putting together from years of finding. What I have a video is of this year, like some of the things that we did this year.
No, the guy this year that never put on tefillin, that put on tefillin.
Yeah, so it's that guy. It's yes, everything's included, but he does it. Obviously, he says thank you to the class and not to the specific person who sponsored it. Yeah.
Yeah. Rabbi, the reason I keep coming back to the Legos is there's a Orthodox woman here with her son who's on the autism, and his whole social life, other than other things he does, is Legos. Every penny he gets for every gift, he buys Legos. He would be fascinated. Are there any photos of the ones at the other places? Anything I can show him? I mean, he goes to Israel once a year, where mom takes him.
Wow.
And he's amazing and really involved with Judaism. His dad died recently. Mr. Epstein, Rabbi Epstein, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
If
Huh?
it could be I have it somewhere, and I will forward it on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I
We'll look
wanted
for
to
it.
know about the Lego rabbi. The Lego rabbi. It's very important in his life right now.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thanks for having
Wonderful.
me.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having
This
me,
was
and,
wonderful. Good night,
nice to
everybody.
meet you.
Thank you, Rabbi Varnai.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rabbi. Beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you for sharing it with us. Good night. Good night. See you tomorrow
Thank you,
night.
Mr. Lempel. Thanks for showing up, Jay.
Oh.